The desert was silent. No birds. No life. Only the wind blowing hot air over the golden sand. It was a dead planet. Or at least, that's what everyone believed. Jack Marlowe walked alone, his boots sinking into the soft dunes. He was a human explorer, sent to check old crash zones and buried tech on forgotten planets. His ship was parked miles behind, hidden between broken rocks. He carried only water, a small scanner, and his instincts. The sun above was not like Earth's sun. It was larger, redder, and felt like fire against the skin. Jack's suit helped with the heat, but the real danger wasn't the sun. It was the silence. Too quiet. He had learned that on other missions, when a place is too quiet, it means something's not right. His scanner beeped softly. Jack frowned. He checked the signal. It was strange. A small life reading, but almost dead. Faint. Weak. Just a whisper in the wind. Probably a dying plant, he muttered. Still, he followed it. The scanner led him over a hill, past an old wrecked ship half buried in sand. Then the beeping grew louder. Jack stopped. His eyes narrowed. In the middle of the sand he saw something. A small dome made of dark glass, barely showing above the surface. It was shaped like an egg, half buried. He knelt and brushed away the sand. His fingers touched cold metal. "This isn't plant life," he said quietly. Jack pulled out a digging tool from his bag and began to work. Sand flew around him. Sweat rolled down his face. Minute by minute, the shape grew clearer, a full capsule, smooth and sealed. No doors, no panels, just one glowing symbol at the top. It looked like an alien language. He pressed his hand against the symbol. The scanner screamed. And then, a heartbeat. The symbol glowed blue. The glass turned clear. Inside the capsule lay a girl. But not a human girl. Her skin was pale silver, almost glowing. Her long hair floated in the liquid inside the pod. Her eyes were shut. Her chest didn't move. Jack's own heart stopped for a moment. "She's dead?" he whispered. But the scanner still showed life. Weak, but real. He had two choices: leave her and report back or take a risk. Jack wasn't known for playing safe. He searched the sides of the capsule, found a small latch and twisted it. Ish! The pod opened slowly with a breath of cold air. Liquid poured out, soaking the sand. The girl's body fell gently into Jack's arms. She was light, almost weightless. She didn't move. Jack checked her pulse. Nothing. No. "Come on," he whispered. He dropped to his knees and began CPR, pressing her chest. Again and again. Still nothing. He tilted her head and breathed air into her lungs. Once, twice. He pressed again. "Don't die on me, please." Then, her chest rose, a cough, a sharp breath. Her body shook. She was alive. Her eyes blinked open slowly. They were bright gold, and filled with fear. She gasped and tried to push away, but her limbs were too weak. Jack held her gently. "It's okay, you're safe now." She didn't understand the words. Her lips moved, speaking in a strange alien language, but Jack's translator clicked on, picking up her voice. "Still alive?" she whispered. "Yes," Jack said. "You're alive." She stared at him, confused, then whispered, "Human?" Jack nodded. Her eyes filled with tears, but her body was too tired to cry. She passed out again in his arms. Jack looked around the desert. No signs of other life, no help. Just him, the hot sun, and this strange alien girl who had been buried like a secret. Who was she? Why was she in that pod? And most of all, who buried her alive? Jack stood up, carrying her gently. Whatever answers lay ahead, he knew one thing. This girl was not supposed to survive, and someone somewhere wouldn't be happy to know she had. Jack laid the alien girl gently inside the shade of a rocky arch, away from the burning sun. Her skin looked like silver dust, and her breathing was shallow, like a whisper lost in the wind. He wrapped her, in his extra coat, trying to keep her warm. Even in the desert heat, her body felt cold. Hours passed. She didn't wake, but Jack didn't leave. He checked her pulse again. Slow, weak, but steady. "Who are you?" he asked quietly, watching her sleeping face. "Why were you buried like that?" The wind blew harder now, making tiny sand devils dance around them. Jack turned on his small communicator, trying to contact his ship. Static. Damn, the storm's messing with the signal. He looked at the girl again. He didn't know her name. Didn't know if saving her had been a mistake, but something deep inside told him. This wasn't just a rescue. This was something bigger. Suddenly she stirred. Her fingers twitched. Then her golden eyes opened. Jack froze. "Hey, it's okay. You're safe." She stared at him, not blinking, not moving, like a frightened animal. Then she screamed. Her voice was loud, but broken. She pushed back, trying to crawl away, but her body was too weak. She fell, gasping for breath. "Stop, don't hurt yourself," Jack said, rushing forward. She looked at him with terror, whispering something in her alien tongue. His translator buzzed, slowly piecing it together. "Kill me now, before they find me." Jack's eyes narrowed. "What?" She coughed. "Don't. Let them take me again." "No one's taking you," he said, kneeling beside her. "I'm not here to hurt you." She looked into his eyes, then blinked. "You're not one of them." Jack shook his head. "I'm human." Her body relaxed just a little. "They buried me, alive." Jack felt a chill. Why would they do that? She turned her face away, like the memory itself hurt. "Because I'm broken." "What does that mean?" She didn't answer. Instead, she reached for her chest, just above her heart, where a faint blue glow pulsed beneath her skin. "They feared what was inside me." Jack leaned closer. "What's inside you?" "I don't know. But they said it shouldn't beat." Jack sat in silence. This wasn't just about cruelty. This girl had something dangerous inside her. Something her own people wanted to erase. "They locked me in that pod," she whispered. "Said I was a mistake, said no one would ever find me in the sands." Jack's fists clenched. "But I did." She turned back to him. "Why?" He looked at her. Her face was tired, fragile, but still filled with life. "I don't leave people behind," Jack said simply. She stared at him for a long moment, then said softly, "My name is Soraya." Jack smiled. "Nice to meet you, Soraya." She tried to sit up but winced. "My body isn't healing fast. I need energy, the kind I lost in the pod." Jack opened his pack, pulled out a power cell. "Will this help?" She touched it and shook her head. "No, my body feeds differently." Before Jack could ask, "More?" The ground trembled slightly. He looked up. Dust rolled down from the rocks. Soraya's eyes went wide. "They're here." "Who?" She reached for his arm with panic. "The ones who buried me. They felt my pulse return. They always know." From far in the distance, a dark shape appeared on the horizon. A ship, black and fast, flying low over the dunes. Jack stood up, shielding his eyes. "You said they wouldn't find you." "I was supposed to stay dead," she whispered. Jack picked her up. "Well, you're not, and I'm not letting them take you." Soraya's heart pulsed again. The glow under her chest grew brighter. "Wait," Jack said. "What is that light?" She looked afraid. "If they get too close, it will defend me." "Good," Jack said. "Let it." But Soraya shook her head. "It doesn't care who's friend or enemy. It only protects by force. If it activates, you might die too." Jack didn't hesitate. "Then we run." The desert sky had turned orange by the time Jack reached the broken ridge. He moved fast, carrying Soraya in his arms. Her silver skin shimmered with sweat, and the blue glow in her chest had grown stronger, brighter, pulsing like a heartbeat trapped under glass. Behind them, the black ship was closing in. It made no sound. It didn't need to. Its shadow slid, like a knife over the dunes. "They're tracking my heartbeat," Soraya whispered. "They don't care if I'm dead or alive now. They just want what's inside me." Jack grunted. "You keep saying that. What's so special about your blood?" She hesitated, then said, "It's not just blood, it's memory. My kind call it the soul code. A map of old energy, lost power from the first race. It was placed inside me when I was born, but they feared I would become more. More than what?" She looked up at him. "More than them." They reached a cliff wall. Jagged rocks jutted out like broken bones. Jack ducked into a narrow crevice, barely wide enough for him to slip through. Inside was a hollow space, cool, dark, safe. For now. Jack laid her down gently. Outside, the black ship hovered low over the dunes. 3 figures dropped out, dressed, in dark armor with glowing red visors and sharp claws where hands should be. Jack watched from a crack in the rock. "They don't look friendly," he whispered. Soraya's breathing was heavy. "They're called the Harvesters. Once they find a carrier like me, they extract the code and destroy the rest." "Not happening," Jack muttered. He pulled out a blaster from his hip and checked the charge. Only 4 shots left. He looked at Soraya. "Can you walk?" She shook her head. "Not yet. My cells are still restoring." Jack swore under his breath. One of the Harvesters stepped close to their hiding place. He stopped. His head tilted like he was sniffing the air. Jack held his breath. Then the Harvester growled. "She's close," Jack whispered. "Don't move," Soraya whispered back. "If they enter this place, my defense will trigger. You said it could kill me. I don't want it to." Jack looked down at her, terrified, trembling, but alive. He tightened his grip on the blaster. "Stay behind me," he said. Suddenly, the rock wall behind them cracked open, a secret door, activated by Soraya's glow. Jack turned. "What the?" "It's responding to the code," Soraya whispered. "This cave, it was a temple long ago." No time to think. He picked her up and rushed through the door. It sealed shut behind them. On the other side, dark stairs, ancient walls, glowing blue lines like veins in stone. Soraya's heart beat louder now. She gasped. "It's waking." "What is?" "The Guardian." Jack stopped. "What Guardian?" But Soraya's body stiffened. The glow from her chest moved up her neck, across her arms, into the walls. The temple came to life. Blue light poured through carvings, and then a giant statue at the end of the hallway opened its eyes. Jack pointed his blaster. "Don't shoot," Soraya said. "It's not alive. It's waiting." Waiting. For what? Me. Suddenly the ground behind them exploded. The Harvesters had blasted through the outer rock. Jack turned. "We have to fight." "No," Soraya whispered. "Now it's my turn." She stood on her feet, weak, but burning with power. The light from her body shot outward like a wave. The statue moved. It wasn't just stone. It was a weapon. And it recognized her. A low sound echoed. The air turned electric. The Harvesters paused, confused. Then, boom, a flash of light, a wall of energy. One Harvester was thrown across the room, armor smoking. Jack shielded his face. "What the hell was that?" Soraya's voice was calm now. "The code inside me. It doesn't just hold memories. It holds weapons, commands from the first race. I'm not just a girl. I was born to protect what they left behind." Jack stared. "Then why did they bury you?" "Because power scares people. Even my own kind." The last 2 Harvesters started firing, but the statue moved again, blocking the shots. Jack fired once, hitting the last Harvester in the shoulder. He fell. Silence returned. Dust settled. Jack turned to Soraya, who was now on her knees, exhausted. "You saved us," he said. She smiled faintly. "No, you did. You were the only one who listened to the whisper." Jack reached out and took her hand. "You're not broken, Soraya. You're the key." The ancient temple was silent again. Only the soft hum of glowing walls remained, like the heartbeat of something old and watching. Jack sat beside Soraya near a cracked pillar. Her silver skin was dim now, no longer glowing. Her hands trembled as she held a thin energy crystal, absorbing what little power she could from it. "You shouldn't have stood up," Jack said softly. "I had to," she replied, her voice weak. "They would have killed you." Jack looked at her. "You barely survived yourself." Soraya smiled gently. "But I did survive. Because of you." Jack didn't answer. He looked at the walls around them. Strange symbols danced in glowing blue, like living language. They didn't just tell stories. They remembered. He reached out to touch one, but Soraya caught his wrist. "Don't touch that," she warned. "Some memories here are locked. Others bite back." Jack chuckled dryly. Good to know. They rested in silence. The heat of the desert couldn't reach this deep. It was cold underground. Jack took off his coat and placed it over Soraya's shoulders. She blinked, surprised. "Why do humans do that?" "What?" "Give warmth when you have little left." Jack shrugged. "Because we don't leave people freezing in the dark." Soraya stared at the fabric, then looked down at herself. "My people taught me to survive alone, to trust no one. They called weakness a disease. That's why I never asked for help when they locked me in the pod." Her voice broke slightly. "I thought I deserved it." Jack turned to her. "You didn't. No one deserves to be buried alive." She looked at him with wide golden eyes. "Then why did you come for me?" "I didn't know who I was coming for, just followed a whisper. Thought it was nothing, but it led me to you." She went quiet. For a moment the room felt different. Not like a battlefield, not like a tomb, but something warmer. Then Soraya spoke again, softer now. "I've never had someone stay with me after danger. They always run when they see what I carry inside." "Maybe they ran because they couldn't handle it," Jack said. "But I can." She blinked at him. "You don't even know what it is." "Doesn't matter. I trust what I saw." A tear slid down her cheek, small, silent, and silver like liquid metal. Jack leaned closer. "What is it?" She hesitated. "The soul code is alive, not just data, not just power. It feels." "You mean it has emotion?" "It reacts to those close to me. If I feel pain, it may lash out. If I feel warmth." She stopped, her voice catching. Jack tilted his head. "Then what?" Soraya looked at him, her voice just a whisper. "Then it calms." As she said that, the walls dimmed. The glowing carvings stopped pulsing. Everything around them slowed and breathed. "You're controlling it," Jack said. "No," Soraya whispered. "You are. Your presence is soothing it. That's never happened before." Jack didn't know what to say. He reached for her hand. Cold. He wrapped his fingers around hers. Slowly, the blue light returned to her skin, but soft, gentle, like the shimmer of moonlight. Then, deep below them, something growled. Jack stood, quickly, eyes alert. What was that? Soraya's eyes widened. Another chamber just woke up. Jack looked around. "Are we not alone?" "No," she said. "The temple wasn't just hiding me. It was guarding something else." They both stood, moving slowly toward a hallway lit by new lights. In the distance, a heavy door opened on its own. Behind it, a sleeping creature. Large, covered in armor-like scales. Wings folded tight, a tail curled under its body. And at the center of its head, a crystal just like the one in Soraya's chest. She gasped. "It's like me." Jack raised his blaster. "Is it friendly?" "I don't know, but I feel its heartbeat." The creature opened one eye. Gold. just like hers. It didn't move to attack. It blinked slowly, then lowered its head in respect. Jack lowered his blaster. Soraya stepped forward. It's not a beast, she said. It's a protector, left here in case I ever woke up. And now that you're awake? Soraya turned to Jack, her glow stronger now, her voice calm. Now it knows I'm not alone. The walls began to shake. At first it was gentle, like distant thunder. But then, the ground beneath Jack's feet cracked and dust fell from the ceiling of the ancient chamber. Soraya stepped back. The creature before them, the silver-scaled guardian with golden eyes, lifted its head and growled, not in anger but in warning. Something is coming, she said. Something old. Something angry. Jack glanced around, gripping his blaster tight. Is it more harvesters? Soraya shook her head slowly. No, this is not from outside. The glow from her chest grew stronger again, bright enough to light the entire room. Blue patterns flared across the stone floor like veins waking from a deep sleep. The temple is reacting, Soraya said, eyes wide. It's been asleep for thousands of years, but now, it's waking up because of me. Why now? Jack asked, stepping beside her. Because I'm no longer alone, she whispered. Just then a rumble came from the far wall. It slid open with a sound like grinding metal. Beyond it, a stairway spiraled downward into the deep earth. The guardian creature stood and slowly walked toward the stairway. It wants us to follow, Soraya said. Jack nodded. Let's find out what's waiting. They descended. The air grew colder. The walls changed, less like stone, more like metal. Lights flickered, showing strange alien symbols that moved when looked at too long. Soraya walked slowly, her fingers brushing the walls. This is older than my people, she said. Older than memory. They reached the bottom and entered. A huge circular chamber. In the center of the room stood a black crystal, floating, humming. The air buzzed with quiet energy. Soraya gasped. That's the seed. Jack looked at her. The what? The original core of the soul code. My ancestors made copies from it. But this is the first one, pure, untouched. It should not exist. The guardian bowed before it. Soraya stepped forward, staring into the crystal. This is why they buried me. Jack frowned. Explain. She turned to him, voice shaking. When I was born, they detected this seed signature inside me. It had attached to my DNA, chose me. The leaders were afraid, said I'd awaken forbidden things, control power too dangerous. So they tried to erase you. Yes, she said. But they failed. Suddenly, the crystal pulsed. Jack stepped back. Soraya cried out, falling to her knees. The glow in her chest surged and connected with the seed through a thin beam of light. She's syncing with it, Jack shouted. Her voice trembled. It's showing me things. Memories. Jack knelt beside her. You okay? Tears ran down her cheeks. The seed holds pain, wars, betrayal, but also love. A time when the galaxy was united, when humans weren't even born yet, before everything fell. She looked into Jack's eyes. It wants to trust again. Then the temple shook harder than before. Sirens began to blare. Old lights flickered red. What now? Jack asked. Soraya stood stronger now. Her glow was no longer wild. It was calm, balanced. They've found us. Jack ran to a corner console. Dusty, but still working. The screen lit up, he cursed. 4 ships inbound. Not harvesters this time, bigger. Soraya's face turned grim. The council. They've come to finish what they started. Jack looked at her. Can you stop them? I don't know, she said. But the seed can, if I become its voice. The voice. It's not just a title, she whispered. It means I have to merge with it. Give it my body. My life. Jack grabbed her shoulders. No. We'll fight together. You're not dying. Soraya smiled softly. Then listen carefully, Jack. If I don't survive, you must carry my code. It will protect you, it will protect truth. No, we're not ending like that. A deep roar shook the chamber. The Guardian howled. Above them, the roof cracked. Open. Sunlight poured in, and through it, a warship descended. Jack raised his blaster. Soraya closed her eyes. I am the chosen mistake, she whispered. But now, I choose. Her body began to rise, floating into the air as the seed pulled her closer. Her glow merged with the crystal and the whole chamber erupted in light. Jack shielded his eyes. When he looked again, Soraya was gone. But the crystal was no longer black. It was gold, and it began to beat like a heart. The golden crystal pulsed, once, twice, then it roared. A wave of energy shot out from the chamber, racing up through the temple, through the sands above, and into the sky. A beacon that lit up the dead desert like a second sun. Jack stumbled back, his arms shielding his face. The light was warm, not burning. Alive. It felt like standing near a heartbeat too big to understand. Soraya? He called out. No answer. The crystal floated in the center of the room, glowing gold like her eyes. But Soraya was gone. No trace, no shadow, just silence. Jack's throat tightened. No, please, not like this. Suddenly the guardian beast dropped to its knees and bowed. It wasn't bowing to the crystal, it was bowing to her voice. I'm here, the voice echoed. Not spoken with lips, but through the walls, through the air, through Jack's chest. Soraya, Jack whispered. The crystal shifted. From within, a new form began to emerge. Golden threads of light swirled into shape, a body forming slowly, like it was being born from memory and fire. Jack stepped forward. The figure stepped down from the crystal's light. It looked like Soraya, but not exactly. She stood taller, her skin now covered in faint lines of glowing script. Her hair floated as if the air itself was obeying her. Her presence was no longer quiet, it was commanding. Soraya? Jack asked again. She opened her eyes, still gold, still her. Yes, she said, her voice calm and deep, layered with echoes. It's me, but I am no longer just the girl from the pod. Jack swallowed. What happened to you? I merged with the seed, she said. It accepted me. Not as a weapon, not as a mistake, but as a guide. The first race made the code, but they never gave it a choice, until now. The Guardian stood and roared. But this time it bowed fully, wings spread in devotion. Jack couldn't stop staring. You're different. I am, she said. But I still remember you. She stepped toward him and reached out her hand. Her fingers glowed with warmth, and when Jack touched them, he felt something. Not power, not fire, but comfort, trust. Suddenly, an alarm beeped on Jack's wrist console. He checked. Enemy ships incoming, 2 minutes out. Soraya looked toward the temple's roof where cracks now let sunlight pour in. Her eyes narrowed. They came to erase me. To silence the code forever. Jack nodded. Then let's stop them. No, Soraya said. Let them come. This time we do not run. Jack looked confused. We're not ready. I am, she said. And so is the seed. The golden crystal behind her flared. More lights lit up along the walls. Ancient. Systems reactivating. Drones rose from corners. The guardian beast growled, stepping beside Soraya. Jack stood still. Everything around him was moving, waking up, answering her call. You're not just the voice of the seed, he whispered. You're its queen. Soraya blinked. If I am queen, then you are the one who woke me. You gave me the reason to rise. The ground rumbled again. Outside, the enemy ships landed, sleek, black, and brimming with soldiers in energy armor. Jack ran to the upper hall, looking out through a broken wall. There are too many. Soraya joined him. No, she said. There are enough. She raised her hand and the sand began to move. Not just blow in the wind, but rise. Huge dunes lifted and twisted, forming barriers, walls, even spears of hard-packed crystal. What are you doing? Jack asked in awe. The seed remembers how to shape the land, she said. And now I remember too. Down below, soldiers advanced. One of them raised a weapon, aiming right at Soraya. Boom. Before Jack could shout, the Guardian leaped, taking the blast in its armored chest. It roared in rage and charged forward. Guardian, Soraya called. Protect without killing. Only defend. The beast stopped, then used its massive tail to slam the ground, sending a wave of force that knocked the soldiers back without harming them. The soldiers looked confused, afraid. Then Soraya stepped into the light, and the entire army froze. Jack watched from behind. She didn't need to shout. She simply stood, tall, glowing, whole, and every weapon lowered. One of the soldiers dropped to a knee, then another and another. They were not harvesters. These were once citizens forced into silence by the council that had feared her. Now they saw her truth. She's not a threat, Jack whispered. She's a symbol. Soraya turned, locking eyes with Jack. Your world gave me warmth, she said. Now I give this one hope. The desert was no longer silent. Wind danced through the air like music, carrying the warmth of golden light. The once dead land around the ancient temple shimmered with life. Blue flowers blooming from cracks in the rocks, strange birds flying above as if the planet itself was breathing again. And at the center of it all stood Soraya. But she was not the weak girl buried in a forgotten pod anymore. She was glowing with the light of the seed, strong, calm, alive. The soldiers had dropped their weapons. Some knelt, others wept. Not from fear, but from something deeper. From the memory of who they once were before they were told to obey, before they were told to fear her. Soraya raised her hand. I don't bring war, she said, her voice reaching every ear without sound waves carried by the code inside her. I bring truth. I was born a mistake, but today I am a choice. The ground lit up around her feet. Golden symbols stretched in every direction. Jack stood quietly at her side, watching it all unfold. You don't need me now, he said softly. Soraya turned to him, eyes shining like firelight. That's not true. You've got a planet listening to you, soldiers bowing, creatures guarding you. You're something divine now. She stepped closer and took his hand. You found me in the sand when I was forgotten, she said. You gave me warmth. You never asked for anything in return. You didn't save me for power or glory. You saved me because you couldn't walk away. Jack smiled a little. Yeah, well, I have a problem leaving people behind. Soraya reached up, gently placing her palm on his chest. And because of that, my heart beats, not just with power, but with something more rare than ancient codes. She looked up at him. Love. Jack blinked. He wasn't expecting that word. Not here, not now, but the truth of it was there in her voice, in the way she looked at him, like the universe had finally made sense. Suddenly, the crystal behind them began to dim, not dead, but resting. The seed no longer needed to protect itself. It had found its purpose again, and Soraya was its voice. But she had chosen her own future. Jack took a deep breath. So, what now? You rebuild the planet? Rule the galaxy? Soraya chuckled. No. I start small. She turned to the crowd of soldiers. This land was once full of life. We can grow again, together. Not by fear, but by choice. Cheers rose from the people. The guardian beast walked beside her, proud and silent. But Soraya turned back to Jack. I want you beside me, she said. Jack raised an eyebrow. Beside you? As what, your bodyguard? She grinned. As the man who reminded me I was more than a weapon. Jack was silent for a moment. Then he said, Well, I've always liked warm weather. She laughed and the sound echoed through the valley like bells in sunlight. 1 month later, the desert had changed. Green vines now crawled across the temple stones. Small farms were growing outside. People from across the stars came, not to conquer but to help. Jack sat outside a small stone house watching the sun set. Soraya walked up beside him, wearing simple clothes, no longer glowing with power. Just smiling. Just herself. She sat beside him and laid her head on his shoulder. I still hear the seed sometimes, she said. What does it say? She closed her eyes. It says it's glad I chose you. Jack smiled. And what do you say? She opened one golden eye and looked at him. I say, you made me human where it mattered most. They sat in silence, under the stars, and far beneath them in the temple's heart the seed pulsed softly, not with power but with peace.